Hello, everyone. Let's wait a couple of minutes and then we will start. All right. Hello and welcome all. In this webinar, we are going to see how to use RPA for content marketing. The agenda for today is as follows. We will see an introduction to the topic. We are going to do a very quick intro to content marketing and keyword research. And then we will talk about idea collection. We are going to see some automations here to help us in this idea stage. And then content creation, we are going to see ways to automate, auto-generate content, and also see some ideas to work with semi-automated processes. And then publishing, we have published a new package, WordPress package. We will see how to use it. So we are going to see some ways to automate our content publishing. So a very quick intro. Content marketing is actually creating and distributing content to attract customers to your site, to your product. There are many ways you can create content for blogs, social media, newsletters, videos, podcasts, ebooks, infographics, many more. We are going to cover blogs and very little of social media publishing. Mostly, we will talk about text and text content generation. So, 101 of content marketing is keyword research. There are many professional tools to help us in this keyword research. So Ahrefs is one of them. They are maybe the well-known. Most of the marketers use Ahrefs, and also SEMrush is another tool that is used mostly. There is another tool that is free to use with some limited features, but well enough to explore this topic. We will use Ubersuggest, Neil Patel's tool for keyword research. So we will see how we do keyword research and how to automate these. After we do our keyword research, we will have some keywords that will help us to generate our content. We will talk about blog content. So we need to understand this. This we will automate in our flows. So when you create a content, an HTML content, you have some tags, special tags, H1, H2, and H3 tags. These are very important. The search engines especially look into these parts for their indexing process. So H1 is mostly your post's title. It is mostly keyword centric. And you try to catch your customers' attention here. They will see it first here, and also on Google search or Bing search, you will see these titles in the search results. So they are very important. H2 is actually subheaders that covers the main points of what you're covering in your blog post. So we need to understand these. So I know these are 101, but we will see how to automate these. So I wanted to do some intro about these topics also. So you can find some resources here. Why header tags are important. There's a good blog post from HubSpot, and also how to do keyword research. This is a good blog article. Of course, all of these tools try to promote themselves, but anyway, these are generic topics that you can find helpful. These links are helpful. So let's start the idea collection part. Now, in this section, we are going to see some flows that we have created for this webinar. But think of them as not complete solutions, but some ideas of doing things. These are like the templates you can find in explore.robomotion.io. These are some snippets that you can use to create your own automations, because your processes may be different than what we are going to show here, but you can use these flows in your automations. So let's start with keyword research, Ubersuggest. Also, I'm going to share all these flows after this webinar, so you can experiment with them. So let's first see what Ubersuggest looks like. This is a site you do your keyword research. There are two main ways that you can do keyword research. One way is entering your domain name, domain address, or your competitor's address. For example, let's try robomotion.io. So when you do this, you will see the keywords that people use and the ways they come to your site. These are the keywords they use. You see the volume, monthly volumes, and also the SEO difficulty. The position and SEO difficulty is important. You want to be at number one on the Google search result or other search results, of course. SEO difficulty is how hard it is to be in this top position. So what you can do with this is we searched our domain. You can also search your competitor's domain here and get some ideas to write some content for your site. You can sort these by difficulty. These are the hardest ones. So microservices for YouTube is very hard. So you can try to find some keywords here. We are doing this process because we will use these keywords to create our blogs content, actually outlines with these keywords. The other way is these tools also provide you some idea generation tools. For example, Ubersuggest gives you keyword ideas. You can write anything here. For example, let's try dropshipping. If you write dropshipping, you may encounter some keywords here that you may want to write, or if it is SEO difficulty is very low, you may target these keywords. So these are the ways to give you some ideas. Keywords are very important. The other tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush also provides you some gap analysis tools. There you can write your domain name and your competitors' domain names, and you can see your competitors are in the top positions, but you are not targeting, for example, those keywords, and you can find those keywords in the gap analysis. So we will now try to automate this process with this flow. This flow just asks when it starts a domain name and opens the browser and actually searches these keywords and returns the results, and you get the results as a CSV file. Again, this is a snippet, so you can do many different things with these flows. For example, in our previous webinar, in crypto webinar, we showed you Telegram bots. So we have integrations with Telegram, Discord, or Slack. So think about creating a content marketing robot or an assistant that you can talk with. You can, for example, say its name, and then it can return you the things it can do for you. And you can, for example, select keyword research, and then it will ask you the domain and do this for you and return the results for you. So this is just a snippet. So let's try this. The robot is running on my machine. So when I run this, we will see the input box here. Let's write robomotion.io. Browser opened. Ubersuggest opens and writes the keyword. We also select the low volumes and lower difficulties, and then I put a delay on the stop to not close this window. But after this flow, it should create, but we got an error, I think, somewhere. Let's see what it is. It's CSV, got an error. File path. I think we have changed this. Actually, we don't need read CSV. It was just, actually, we can do this. Let's copy the source file. I added moving to a folder, so this failed. It's a source file, so it can read from source file. It should read, and then let's start this again. Again, we enter the domain. Waiting for the page. Search completed, and it should download, I think. Yes, it is downloaded. Now it waits for the delay of the stop here. And when we check this folder, we see the results here. So these are the keywords it returns. We sorted them by the difficulty and the positions. So these can give us some ideas. Let's move forward. The second one is actually similar. It requires the keyword this time to give you ideas around those keywords. Let's try this one. It's this time asks the keywords. Again, it opens. This time it will use the keyword ID as part of Ubersuggest. Pretty simple automations, but we will use these outputs in the upcoming flows. So RPA in margin, this stops actually, but it should create. Again, there is an error, I think. There is no error, strange. Let's try this again. Maybe the weight was not enough. We can increase the weight. Okay, this time it worked, I hope. It downloads the file, but I didn't add a move to that. So I can actually close this and show you the file. It is in the download section, but it is again the output of the keywords. This time suggestions, Ubersuggest. This is the keyword we gave, and these are the ideas around that keyword it returns with this is the actual CSV file. I don't know why these headers look like that. These are headers. Okay, SEO difficulty, paid difficulty, search volume. You can find them here, and these can give you some ideas. Okay, let's move forward. These are the keyword research tools. So this is the idea collection section. So we can do something with YouTube also. If you want to create some content, you may also search Google and also search YouTube. And also maybe your competitors' channels. You may want to find the most watched videos there. So we created a flow for that to scrape these popular videos from their side. So there's a config note here. I have an Excel file. You can create an Excel file and provide this to this flow. Let me open that. So, YouTube channels. So you only provide the channel slugs. You can find these. Let's go to Google and write, for example, Udemy's channel. And when you go to Udemy channel, if I can find it, you will see this is the slug. You have to copy this slug to your Excel file. So I added two YouTube channels here, Udemy and Free Code Camp, and the content is here. When we start this flow, it will open the Excel file, read the Excel, and for each channel there, it will go to that channel, open the popular videos page, and then extract the data, and then write it to an Excel file. So let's start this one. So it started with Udemy, and then continues with Free Code Camp, and now it closes. Now, if you look into this folder, let's check Free Code Camp, and you see the URLs, video titles, and the view count. This can give you some ideas of which content is popular in these channels. Maybe these are your competitor channels, or you may write some generic content, and you can find different channels for that content, and you can see which are popular, and you can get some ideas from here. So let's continue. The other one is, this one actually was a request from some of the community members, YouTube transcript collector. So this can maybe help you when you try to write content for your blog, not the H1 and H2, but the paragraph content. And you may be watching many videos to create that content. And if you like the content of that video, YouTube gives you a way to download that transcript of the video. Let's, for example, try something. Let's try JavaScript. And, for example, learn JavaScript full course video. And when you click here, you see the show transcript here, and you can download all this content from this section. Now, this may be helpful. We will try to get this content in two ways. We will create an output of an Excel file within our flow, and also write all the content here in a text file. You can also use these flows later. So the transcript collector, it should not want, this is actually not keywords. This is this should be URL. And we can try a YouTube video. I have some here. I copied it. So let's look into this flow. Actually, a quick look. So from here, we have the folder path. This is only using. We are using this to output the Excel file and the text file. It will be written in this folder, and this subflow just opens the browser and goes to YouTube URL. Nothing important here. And then this subflow actually extracts the transcript. So this may be interesting. Let's look into this one, what we are doing. We are actually waiting most of the time. You see, when we open the YouTube page, everything does not come at once. These sections load one after another. So we have to wait. We have to wait here to click these buttons. So we wait a lot here. We wait the tools section. These are all expats of these sections. This is the tools section. And we wait a button. Maybe after the tools, we wait this button. And we click the more actions button. This is actually the more actions button. And after that, we get the title. We use the CSS selector here to get this title, because we will use this name to create the output files. And then we wait show transcript. When we click here, we want to wait this show transcript. And then this is the core of getting all the transcript content. We are using query selector all. Currently, we don't provide a recorder, so we write JavaScript to extract data from pages. But some pages may not be also possible to extract with a recorder tool. You may all require to write some JavaScript content to extract data. So if you learn how to use query selector all and query selector and some filtering functions or map like filters and reduce functions, I also shared a resources slide after this section, so you can look into them. But there are really a few functions you need to understand, and then you can extract most of the site data with the same JavaScript code you write. So here we use query selector all. Query selector all actually returns all the data that uses this that has this class name. So when we look into the show scripts, we can see that all the items here have this class. And then we use inner text for the first item. I think this was the first 0 item, this was the first item, and this English one is the second. So 0, 1, and second. So we get this with indexing 1, and then we use inner text to return all the data. So actually you can also use this in Chrome browser to see how it works. If you press F12 here and open the Chrome DevTools, you can paste it here to test your code before adding it to run script. So when you run this, you see we get 3 parts. And also if you move on them, it will highlight the field. So this is 1. And because of that, we add the 1 index here. But let's also add it here and see what it returns. So it returns this data. And also we add inner text to get all this text here. But as you see, it has time string. It has a pattern here, and all are added a new line character here. So we can use this new line character for splitting. So after that, we get just the items. You can also paste it here to see how it works. And now items have more than 3,000 elements in the array, but these are now regular strings time text, it continues like that. And now we use these items and we iterate with this items variable, and then we push the data into another array that we create a special object here that takes time and text. You can again copy and paste this data. Maybe you can write this JavaScript in this window. Now, if we check the transcript array, we see the result here actually is, you see time and text are separated. So let's continue. You can just use this flow. If you are not interested with the code, it will just work. So this is the core part of this flow. So I wanted to explain it, how it works. Now we continue. This is the only JavaScript here in this flow. The other nodes are all from this node palette. So we continue, and then we write that data into an Excel. So that was not the only JavaScript. So we have a little JavaScript here also. We have to create a table data structure to pass it into the Excel nodes. So it is not very complicated, but it is a JSON object that has columns and rows fields. The columns, we add time and text, and rows are now empty. So we already created a transcript array in the before function. So we can write this directly to this rows variable here. So this will be filled with the content time text, as we see before. And if it is null, this means maybe the YouTube page does not have a transcript, so we can't push anything. This will be null or undefined. So in this case, we check this, and then if it is not, if it is empty, we add transcript not found to the first row, because we are going to write this to an Excel file. And when you open the Excel file, we will see the data, or we will see this transcript not found text. Can you, now I think the microphone went away. Okay, now sorry about that. So I was just explaining how this flow works. This was the core of it, get transcript, and then we get the data out of that, and then created a table data structure here, and then we write it into an Excel file, and then we created another text variable here. We use a map function here. I shared them a slide at the end of this section for you to check how map functions work. This actually traverses an array. This array now holds text and time fields in it. With map, we only take the text fields and then join those text fields to create one big text out of that array of time and text values. So let's now check this and see how it works. Now it asks again a URL. I have a YouTube video here, an example video. Let's try this one. So it opens, goes to the page, hopefully waits everything, and now clicks the show transcript, and that's it. It takes the data. So this creates the Excel file here. You see all the time and text is here, and also it created just one big text file here. Okay, this is the end of the idea section. Now let's continue. You can use all these tools in your flows. I will explain more tools. Maybe you can combine these with different ways for your processes. So let's continue. These are the resources I am talking about. Actually, if you learn how to use map and filter, and also document query selector and document query selector all, that will be enough for maybe 80 or 90% of web data extraction. These are the mostly used tools for web scraping. It can help you. So this also explains the DOM selection. There are some other tools you can use. This explains it. Chrome DevTools tricks. This explains one trick to use in the Chrome. This is also nice. And also, this is another nice article that shows how to handle your errors with query selector and query select role. Because with Transcript node, if your script fails, it returns an error, but it does not throw an exception, so you can't catch it. You have to handle the exception inside the run script node, so you can use these mechanisms to catch errors in your run script. Okay, let's continue. Now the content generation part. Before this, we have generated some keywords for us to create some block outline and also get some content for our block paragraphs, maybe to get some idea there. So Rytr is an AI tool. There are many of these tools actually, but this is one of them. Again, this is just a way to show how to generate content with one of these tools. There are more tools, PepperType, I know, Jarvis AI, Copy AI. There are many tools. Most of them are using GPT-3 to generate content, but these tools are helpful. So how these work? There are many use cases here. You can try these, but we are going to use the block ID and outline section here, case here. So it requires a primary keyword here. So when we do a keyword research on Robomotion.io, we saw a keyword RPA in mortgage industry. Let's try that one. If you write it here and click this write for me, it should generate a block outline that we saw in the beginning of this webinar. So there should be an outline here. Yes. So here you see this is the H1 title. Here this is H3 and H3 and H3. So this generated us an outline. This tool can do more. For example, if you select this, you see a toolbar here. And if you click this paragraph, it can also write the content of that title. And then again, for this one, let's see. So you see, we are not writing anything, but this tool is generating content for us. This this text may not be used directly. Of course, it depends on your case. I am sure some people are doing this, maybe targeting some keywords and generating content like this and throwing on a WordPress blog. But if you are targeting actual customers and you want to create helpful content, this may not be enough, but may provide you a start and give some ideas. So you can see that we can generate the titles here and then generate more content. If this is not enough, you can click here and it can generate more subheaders to make this blog post longer. It takes some time. You can copy paste this one again. So let's clear these and then see how our automation works. Now we are going to use this, we are going to automate this Rytr app to generate our content, and we will output the content in an HTML file. So let's open that flow. Outline generator with Rytr. So this again starts with an input box. You can provide these keywords again if you have, for example, a content marketer assistant bot written by you, a Telegram, Discord, or Slack. You can just provide the keywords and it can generate the output into an HTML file, and again it may send you the HTML file via email maybe, and it can do this process multiple times. So you don't do anything, you just provide the keywords. Maybe you may provide these keywords with an Excel file, and then it can do the same process over and over again and generates those files and then emails that to you. So this actually, it is straightforward. This opens the browser, goes to that links and clicks those buttons, enters the data, and then we remove the not used parts. When we generated the content, you may see the keywords parts at the bottom of the titles. We want to remove all of them. We don't need them. So with query selector all, the EM parts, if you examine what the content, you will see that they are between EM tags. You can just remove them with this line. You will see when it works, and then we one by one select the H3 headers, and then click paragraph to generate the content for those subtitles. Here, this was hard actually. The selection part was hard to do. You see, when you select the text with mouse moving, it shows a toolbar there. So the way we find to do it is double clicking the H3 element and then clicking once again, and it selects all the text. So this is the way you find, and then the toolbar appears, and then we click paragraph. After that, we get the text, of course, the generated text, we get it. This is actually the expat of the generated text, and then we write it into a file. So now let's try this one. We will give the same keywords. The tools generate always different content, so that is nice, but sometimes it is shorter, sometimes it is longer, and especially the H3 parts has to be more than 30 characters. If not, then it can't generate a paragraph for it. So I don't think there is one. We removed all the unnecessary items and hope it worked, but there's something wrong, I think. Let's check it. There's a problem. Let's see what the problem is. Failed to execute string is not a valid expression. I can't see at first sight, but let's check it here. Let's try to run this again. Maybe the weights are not enough. Let's try this again. Also, you can wait this to disappear. So writing, if this disappears and you see the content or deleted, now it seems to be working. We click the paragraph. You see we are now waiting this paragraph to disappear. Okay, it seems to be working. Now the robot opened the Rytr app and now generating content automatically for us. It takes some time to create the content. Hope it works. Last one. Yes, it seems to be work. Now let's check the webinar folder and see the content. It should be here. Yes, this is the generated content by the Rytr app. Now we can actually use this content and directly post it in the WordPress blog of ours. This is possible. We will see the publishing part in the next section. Before, I want to show you some other tools you can use, and one of them is Quillbot. Let's check that one. Quillbot can help you to paraphrase some content. This may be helpful, for example, if you want to create unique content for sending mail to your customers, maybe, or you like some content from emails you received from some other maybe app or competitor. You don't want to use the exact content, but you want to use you want to paraphrase it. Then you can use this tool to generate content for you. I am looking for a paragraph to paraphrase, but I couldn't find it. Let me use this one then. Let's find. Okay, let's try this one. If you write this content here and click paraphrase, it changes the content with different words. So you see it changed the text. It is not the same, and you can replace maybe the keywords, and you can use this content. This is important. Maybe some blog writers or some maybe agencies may be using these kinds of tools. One important thing is Google may penalize you if you use the exact content of some site. So people usually use paraphrasing tools to use some content from those blogs. Also, there is a tool called plagiarism. I can't pronounce it very correctly. Checker. You have to upgrade to use this. This actually tells you if you generate the content and copy paste it here, it will tell you that it is a unique content. So this is important. You can test here the uniqueness of your writing, but we will use the paraphraser to automate. Maybe you have some emails you want to send to people and you want to change the content, maybe for A/B testing or something like that. You can create multiple contents. These are grammatically also correct. These tools are also providing. There are many tools for grammar check. Grammarly is one of them, maybe most known ones, but there are grammar checkers here. So I think the paraphraser should not have a grammar error, so no need to use a grammar checker here. So you can use this content later. So let's check the paraphrasing flow. So what we do here, let's check. So we have an original text here. Let's see what it looks like. Let's go to this folder. I think the content I was looking for was this. I deleted it. So then let's use the content we get from somewhere else. Let's use this content. Let's create the original txt file, original txt, and write content here. Now we have the original txt file having this content, and then we will output the paraphrase content into paraphrase txt. The paraphraser is very easy. You open the Quillbot, go to that link. It is actually, the tool is very easy to use. You just paste text here and click this button. And if you don't like it, you can press refresh again. We'll just use it once. Let's check it. It opens. Paste the data, and now clicks paraphrase. And it returns the paraphrase data. Now let's check the original text and the paraphrase text here. It's changed a little bit. So this is a paraphraser tool you can use, and you can automate this process with these flows. So let's continue. Translations. This is also a big one. The flow is very small, but this may help you a lot. So when you write content, it is important to translate it into different languages to get more traffic to your site. So we started with keyword research. We generated content with that keyword research, and now you can also translate that content automatically to another language you like. We will translate the paraphrase text here to German language. For that, we are going to use text translate. Under the cognitive package, you can find the text translate node here. It actually accepts one text, message text. We got it from read text output. Read text just gets the input from the paraphrase txt that we generated before here. So it will take this and generate a German translation for it. And then we select the output here, German. This also needs the Google service credentials. We have some tutorials showing you how to generate some service keys or JSON document to use this node, you just add a document item to your vault and select that document. And then we write the translated output into the translated path, and that is translated -DE. Now let's try this one. Okay, it seemed to be working. Not this one, paraphrase. Now this is the German translation, I hope. Yes, I can't read German, but I think this is a nice translation. So let's continue. So this is the translation part. Now we have the text, we have a generated content. We can generate an automated content also. Now we want to automate the publishing part. There may be some different media platforms that you share your content. This is mostly a blog, maybe a WordPress blog. We will show a new package that we have created for WordPress. You can find it in our stable repository now. And also I will show a very simple Twitter post automation to automatically post your content. So let's continue to publishing. So our WordPress package is not very complicated, but it will help you to create posts automatically, either a draft or a published post. You can publish directly, or a draft you can create. And also you can get all the posts from your WordPress blog. You can get the category and post details with GetNote. You can update the content. This is also important. You may want to update your content regularly. Maybe even I saw some blogs or YouTube videos that they only change the titles. For example, top 10 code editors you can find in 2021. The video content doesn't change, but they change the title to 2022, for example. You may want to update some content automatically like this, maybe the dates. You can delete posts and categories. Create media is also for uploading images or videos to your WordPress. You can use those files in your posts by linking in your articles. So this is the WordPress package now available in our repository. Now we took a different approach to publishing, because you may create your content and publish it to directly WordPress and deploy and send it to WordPress and then publish the post to the world. But no one, I think, would do that. Maybe if you are not spamming some keywords or contents, or experimenting these AI articles, how they would rank you in Google, no one would do that, I think. But what we tried to do here is we created the auto-generated content to an HTML file, and after that we will send it to Google Drive and convert that HTML file into a Google document. So this way you may share this Google document with your team members or writers, or maybe you are outsourcing this, and tell them to fix the problems in the article. Maybe it can be a starting point for them to write that article. And then if you want, you can just take the article from there and send it to WordPress as a draft and then publish that article. This may be more helpful because you can create a process for yourself, for your team, maybe create a folder structure for your drafts and finished articles in Google Docs. And over time, if you update any of the articles in Google Docs, you can just publish it to the WordPress automatically. Again, think about this. You have a Telegram bot or a Discord bot and an assistant, content marketing assistant, and you ask your assistant to just publish the updated Google Docs to WordPress. So you don't need to log into WordPress, go to the posts, find the post, and then maybe update it, copy paste the content, and then publish it. You don't need to do that. You just talk to your assistant for you to do those tasks. Also, this is not presented here, but we show you the ways to do that. You can also generate translations of your articles from Google Docs and create new articles. This would be also helpful, and then you can maybe publish those articles also in your WordPress. And then we will see a Twitter scheduling flow. This is also a very simple flow that just takes an Excel file and then posts the data if the time comes. There are, of course, many good companies that does these tasks in a more professional way, but you can do it on your way. You can create similar solutions with your robots. So let's continue with HTML to Google Docs. So here, let's check the config. Now this is important. Let me go to that Google Drive. So to use Google Drive, you have to create a folder and then share that folder with your service account. You may find the details in our docs.robomotion.io page, how to create a service account. But if you click here, you can create a folder in your Google Drive. And if you click share here, you have to share this folder with your service account, like here, for that robot to write content in this folder. So we did that. And also we need the folder ID. This is like the name of the folder in Google Drive space. We need this ID to use this folder, not the name, because you can create same folder names, but this ID is unique in your Google Drive. So copy it and then paste it here. So you need to do two things. You need to create a folder first, an empty folder, and then share that folder with your Google service account and get the folder ID and write it here. Now we generated a content from Rytr. Now we are going to send it to Google Docs, but the content is currently in HTML format. So we will upload this HTML and we will use our new node here, copy file node, to convert that content into another format. So it is an HTML format, but we will convert it into Google Docs format. This is similar to when you click an attachment in your email. Sometimes Google asks you to open it in Google Sheets or some different app. This is actually what it does. It converts the file into these formats. Now we will convert the HTML into Google Docs, but Google Notes also, the upload file, I think, not this one, copy file, this one. The copy file needs a name for the converted file. So for this, we will use the H1 text. So this one for the file name. This is h1 tag. Here, as you see, we'll use that. So to do that, we first read the file. We use the file system read file node, read the content of that, all that content of that file. So this may seem a little complicated, but we use regex to extract that h1 text from that file. So, and then use that text in our gdoc name variable. So we have everything. We read the file, we get the title, and now we connect to Google Drive. You just need the service account information, and then we upload the file. First, this is the HTML file. There is nothing here currently. And then we will use copy file to convert that file to Google gdoc name file and gdocs MIME type, and then disconnect. Now let's try this one and check here. You see the HTML is uploaded, and now the Google Docs file is also generated from HTML. So this is useless for us. This HTML file is useless for us, and the browser can show the content here in a very nice way, but when you open that, for example, with, let's use here, if you open it with a code editor, you will see the complexity. You can't edit this file. So we can sort it, format document, but you can't work on an article with this file. So because of that, we uploaded the HTML and converted into Google Docs. Now we can open the Google document and see all the H1, H3, and paragraphs here in a nice way. Now we can, if it loads, we can now edit this document nicely. We can share this document to any writer in our team. So from now, when this article is finished, we want to deploy this to our WordPress blog, send this to our WordPress blog. I want to change this, so let's add an item here. This is the last process. This is it. Now we will also need this file ID. We have updated our Google Drive package. We have updated our Google Drive package. This copy file node here should output the file ID here, but as we check, we see this empty. This is a bug that we are going to fix in the later version, but you can automate this with this file ID. So currently we are getting this ID from here. So suppose that you get this from this copy file nodes output. This is the new version of Google Drive package, and this is a new node. So this is a bug, but now we get the file ID. Now let's open the other automation. Now Google Docs to WordPress. We have a WordPress site here for our tests. This is wordpress.robomotion.io. There is no article here. We can also check the admin part. Let's click the posts. Nothing here. Now, when we start this flow, let's check the config node, what it does. This should be the file ID. I copied that. Now I should take it from here and then paste it here. Again, in your flows, you will get this ID from copy node. So this is the file ID, generated file ID. You may also create some complicated systems. You may use SQLite, for example, to track your generated content, updated, published content with your SQLite, with the SQLite package maybe. And also if you have a Discord, Telegram bot, it can return the status of your documents. You can ask your assistant and it can return you the results from your SQLite database. That is possible. So I am just manually currently pasting this one. So after that, we provide an export path. This is not important. This is a temporary path we provide because now we are going to download the Google Docs as an HTML file to our system. We need to do this because we will send an HTML document to WordPress. And then this is our WordPress URL. Now let's continue. So let's check the publish folder if there is anything there. It's currently empty. We also added some content here. Let's add 1, 2, 3 also. And then this connects to Google Drive, uses export file. It exports the data with HTML format. This also gets the file ID. The drive ID comes from the connect. Connect takes the credentials. You just provide the credentials to this node. It outputs the drive ID. Now export file uses the drive ID, but takes input file ID and file path. File ID we provided manually. Export path is a temporary path, but we have to provide that also. And now this should write to this folder with the export HTML file. This connects it. We read the export path. So we read the exported file and then we create the post. This may seem complicated because it is an HTML file. We use regex again here. We use regex to get the body content. We tried to send all the HTML document to WordPress, but it failed. Only works between the body text. So we extract the data from there. And also, again, we use regex to extract the title of that document because we want this title to give our WordPress post. WordPress post requires that, and we use that regex to get the body, and then again we use this second regex here actually to get the title, and then we slice the body. I think there is some unwanted characters there to get the data between the body tags. And now this is the final part. The WordPress after connect create post requires a post JSON. So this is it. We have to provide the title and the content. So we get the title from h1, we get the content from body. Now, if you don't provide this status field, the post will go to the WordPress draft. But if you use status keyword and use publish here, it will be published immediately. Now we will first send it to draft. Now we can start this one. It failed. Let's see why it failed. Invalid character. There's something wrong here. Let's check the export HTML. Let's check it code. The regex is most probably failing somewhere. You see, it is very hard to read this file. Let's try to find out where it fails. Invalid character, beginning error message. This should be working actually. Let's check the export HTML and see if there is H1 and span. Yes, there is span. Let's put something here. Maybe understand what is failing. Is it the title or the content? This is now successful, so this means the content is the problem. Let's check the content here. I also want to see this. Why are we using slice here? I want to see that. Let's put content here. We have the back here. Now let's check again. I think there is something wrong with create post. Body not found. No, this is not the problem. Message. Hope I can find the problem quickly. If not, I'll just continue with the content. Now let's see how our body looks like. This seems problematic. The slices may not be enough. This is not correct to do this, I think. What can we do? Maybe we can try something else to send. This is simpler. Let's try to send this. Let's go with this and publish here. This one and change it to export. Hope this works. Again failed. Okay, I will have to fix this later after the webinar and we'll share this. I tried this, but always some problem may appear in live webinars. Let's put content here and let's try this one. I will fix this and then share the working flow with you later. But let's see this. Okay, it worked. So if we check this, we should see the content here. Actually, the title is correct, but the content is not correct, of course. We should see just the content here, unfortunately. But I will share the working flow later. There is a problem here in the regex part. The content cannot be extracted between these H1 fields, maybe. Okay, this body field, there's a problem here, I think, but I will fix this and share later. So let's continue. So the last one is Twitter posting. Also a simple flow here. We have an Excel file for Twitter schedules, XLSX. You just write the content here to publish later. This is the time you want to publish. So this is the time you want to publish, and when it is published, the flow updates the published part. It first gets all the data from here, checks the date. If the date is before now, it also looks at the published. If this is empty, then it takes this row to publish to Twitter. And also for the next row, we see that it is at the end of May, so this should not be posted. So I will use a Twitter account here. Let's check that first. Let's close these. Google Docs worked in my tests, but unfortunately in the webinar it failed. I will fix that. So this is the Twitter account we will use for this test. There is no post here currently. We use the cookie method to log in. So we just open the browser, open the Twitter link, and then set the cookie that is taken from a logged in Twitter account. When you go to Dev Console and the application part and go to cookies for the Twitter domain, of course, you can find the out token cookie and get the value of it. It looks something like this. In this flow, we put it into the global variable, so we get it from out token variable. This is the schedules XLSX file here. And it reads the Excel, opens the Twitter, and then it should filter. No. How does it filter? I think it is filtered here. Okay. Now it reads the content, and we have a filter here. Now this get range node, let's put a debug here. And let's run this. Disconnected this wire also for the flow not to continue. So let's check this debug output. You see the get ranges table output. Index time text published are the columns. Here you see index time text published. And there are two rows, as you can see here. This is the text published field is empty and the time is here. Now what we do here is we filter this. How do we filter? With message table rows. Message table rows is here. We use the filter method. This is also a very handy method. Now for every row in this table rows, we create a new date object with raw time. Time is here. You can see the structure here. And with get time, it returns the timestamp in seconds. And if it is smaller than date now, it means we have passed the publish of scheduled time and date. And also we check raw published is empty, because if we posted this to Twitter, we will update this published field. So we will filter these, and only the to be posted tweets from that Excel will be filtered. So the output of this function node is message tweets. This is an array. And then we use for each to loop through that object, tweets, all the tweets. And then for every item in that tweets array, we add a space here before and after. Otherwise, Twitter acts some differently. It shows some pop-ups or something that prevents us to continue automation. So we add these spaces, we open the link to the home page, wait the text area for the tweet, click the text area, type the text, and click tweet button. That's it. And we loop this. Now let's run this. Opens Twitter. This also uses, as I said, the cookie method. So I don't use login, username, password. We use the cookie here. It opens the page. Hopefully enters the data. Okay. And posted it, the data. Now you see it is finished. So let's close and open this Excel file again. We see it is published at this time. This is UTC time, again UTC time. So you need to add Z character at the end of this for the flow to read this as UTC. So what can you do with this? You can create your content here. Maybe you can generate this with Rytr, add some tags, and also add the times you want to post these tweets, and then you may schedule this flow, maybe every 15 minutes, every half an hour. So when it's fired, then it will post those tweets for you. So this can be an automation also you can use. So I think that's it for this webinar. If you have any questions, I would like to answer. Let me check the YouTube comments if we have a question that I can answer. So someone asks, okay, let me show this. So hello, David. If you are new to Robomotion, this question is asked a lot. We know that our resources are not enough yet for the beginners. We are working on that part. We have started to generate some YouTube content. We will add more content there, and also we are trying to create more documentation. And also we have plans. Yeah, there are sample flows are not very good. Some are helpful. We hear from some users that they have used the explore Robomotion.io and they find everything they were searching for, but they are not enough. One idea is we have been creating these webinars for some time, and for these webinars we prepare many flows. Now we will also post these flows separately to explore.robomotion.io. So that would also help for these templates you are looking for. Thank you for this question. Let me search. Also, you asked the question. Yes, we are going to. Actually, you can find all these flows in the forum. We post to our forum here the video, the webinar video, the content. In the announcement part, you can find the previous webinars. If you click one of them, you can see the YouTube video link, the slides here, and also we prepared the sections, and you can navigate here very quickly. Chris also answered this. Is there a way to use GPT-3 using Robomotion? We have applied to their APIs, but we haven't worked with that yet. Of course, it is possible. We can create a package for it to be used. We are also planning to add some Hugging Face package to Robomotion. It can do many things that can be useful. But for GPT-3, more deeper integrations are possible. I know some tools uses GPT-3 to generate JavaScript code. This is a possibility, but we haven't experimented it enough. So we have to work on that. I don't know, maybe it can be helpful for generating those run script and JavaScript nodes for you. Sure, we can work on this. So that's it, I think. Thank you for attending and see you in our next webinar. Thank you.